Had to look at the date. This is Tuesday, June 4th. Can you believe? IUL and Annuity Training. We're at it again.
Yeah.
We are at it again. So, let me see who else we've got joining. Yes, we are on.
I like the background, Miss Robin.
I didn't see it.
Manifest.
Oh, thank you.
You said, oh, okay. I like it. I never put it on this view anyway. I always forget. This is a cool view. Then now I get to see all of you guys. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and start talking. Okay, there's Basil. I was gonna say, yeah, he'll be back in a second. Who's not here? Oh, Jamil.
Yeah, he's making his daughter food real quick. He said he'd be here.
Okay,
So.
yeah, no problem. Hey, Dominic. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, guys. You know the way that we start these meetings off, right? You all know the drill. This is IUL and Annuity Training. I don't know if we have any new guests on here. As a matter of fact, we do. I don't know Jay Khan. Welcome.
I'm a new guest. How you doing, Lavelle?
Yep, and I was going to say, yep, I don't know Lavelle. Welcome. Welcome to the meeting. What we do here every Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, is we, I don't know who the iPhone is, so that's why I'm saying that. What we do on these meetings is we obviously go over IUL and annuity. I'm sitting too close. We go over IUL and annuity concepts and terms, and and then we break it down, even further, right? We go into illustrations, we go into advanced cases. Everybody also comes every week. Here he is. Everybody also comes every week with a case study. So what do I mean by a case study? Everybody comes with a, with a particular client case that they're working on, that they may want to, sell an IUL to. And then we just go through it, whether it's an IUL or a annuity. Does anybody have any questions? Hey, Jamil, good morning.
I got one.
I know it. Does anybody got any questions before we get started? Because, we just get ready to throw this. We just ready to throw this out here. This is pretty much what we do. And then, guys, I've got a special guest on the annuity side that is on, and I'm very, very excited that he is, because we've got a lot of changes that are coming down the pike as far as our annuity carriers and our annuity vendors. A lot of people have questions when they come over here to Experior as to how do our annuities work? Do we need to get contracted with one carrier or individual carriers, right? And they obviously have questions about the compensation and how an annuity is different from an IUL. So this is why I turn my phone off. Scam likely. I have to turn my phone. I keep forgetting during the meetings. Scam likely.
They're just calling about your car warranty.
Huh? Yeah.
We're just calling about your car warranty.
Yeah, or some health insurance.
There it is. It might be AIL. You might want to pick that up.
We've been trying to contact you about solar.
Yeah,
that's really a good one. Solar. You guys are hilarious.
So it's the only reason about the meeting today is to try to get everybody solar on their house. By the way, if you could just do.
Hey, you should have answered and tried to flip them for her.
That's true.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Right. Yeah. When I'm totally bored and have nothing else to do, which is like never. So this is what we do, and we also horse around, right? So for the new people, this is just what we do. So nobody is really serious here, right? We're just serious about making money. That's pretty much it. So we just throw things out there, or just throw things out based upon whatever it is that we got going on for the week. Who we've talked to. We got a lot of people coming in here. Good. Who we've talked to, and who we think would be a good fit for the IUL. or a annuity. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open it up, just like we usually do. Does anybody have any advanced case or case design that they're working on right now, or they got questions on?
I do. I actually have a one tomorrow, the one I told you about.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, here's the situation. Right now, she's paying about $250 a month for 244,000 of coverage, right?
How old is she?
She is 35. She just turned 35 on Saturday. And her main, she vapes, and the main reason why she got the coverage was for the cash value. Yeah, and she's paying $250 for regular whole life policy with AIL. Obviously, it's not really building any money for that. So just pretty much, just trying to figure out what can we take, put it over, or can we take the same amount that she's putting in and putting into an IUL? Should we add, and how would that benefit?
Okay. First of all, what type of policy does she have?
She has it's a whole life policy. It's building at like 0.4% or it's building at like 4%. It's not really building at all.
Okay, and like how long has she owned it?
Like,
If you don't know, it's okay.
I wrote it. Well, I wrote
Oh,
one of them.
You wrote it. Okay.
And then you know how they work, and someone else calls and ups them up, and someone else calls and ups it, and another person calls, and it's a shit show. Anyway, I think she had it for about 2 years.
Yours.
Yeah.
Your policy.
Yeah. Mine. Yeah.
2 years.
2 years.
Okay. And it's for 250,000
altogether. Remember, she got upsold a few times.
Okay, so
she was upsold whole life like 3 times.
So she's paying $250 a month
for 244,000.
And she's 35?
Yes.
That's a lot.
I know. I know. That's why we're hopping on the phone tomorrow.
Okay, but
Carmen?
okay, but what I'm trying to get straight though is, did you say you sold it to her?
I sold her 150,000, and then someone else sold her the other 100,000.
Who's the carrier that you sold? Just out of curiosity.
AIL. This is American Income.
Oh, American Income.
Yeah,
okay,
that's why it's so high.
Okay, so the whole life American Income. Okay. All right. Who else is coming in here?
Yeah, Carmen. Oh. Yeah, can you look out for Amy?
Okay.
That's Lorraine's recruit. I just entered your info. Is she?
No, that's not her. No, she's not in here now, right now.
All right.
Okay. Okay, but what is the problem though, Jamil? Is she no longer wanting the whole life?
Realistically, you're putting in $250 for $244,000 of coverage at the age of 35, and your main goal is to build cash value. Then you don't want to be putting that into that whole life policy.
Okay, gotcha. I'm following you now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would do is, right, I mean, have you had a conversation with her?
We had a conversation on Friday. We talked about it. She said, "Hey, listen, this is something that I want to do. Just want some more information. Can we talk Thursday?" Or Thursday we'll be talking and just setting everything up, just going through everything we need to go through. So
okay. So this is what I would because we got to get to a lot of things today,
right.
and we're already late. So this is what I would do on the appointment with her. I would go over the advantages of the IUL, and I would make sure that they match with what it is that she wants going forward. Because if she said that she wants, a more income producing product, then there we go, right? So I would just go over those other benefits of the IUL and make sure that that's in line, with what it is that she wants, and then just discuss. I wouldn't get into the other policies, but I would just get into letting her know the disadvantages of getting out of, the AIL, policy and any other, right, and any other whole life policy, even though you can't speak, to those other policies as far as their surrender value, blah, 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 right? You can only
Right.
speak to the holder, but you can just let her know what the disadvantages or what the circumstance, what the negative impact would be to cancel your policy,
Right.
her current one, and then pick up an IUL, because she's
Right.
going to substantially have more growth when you map it out and you show her the illustration. But
Right.
just make
Yeah.
but just make sure that she's aware, right? She's going to be it, and it probably won't be a lot, but she's going to be missing out on some cash value if she wants to surrender the policy, right?
I mean,
She needs
realistically, for AIL's cash value, it's like when you look at those policies, like someone will put in 2,000, and then like 2 years later they'll have like $500 of cash value. So it's she ain't missing a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know.
She ain't missing a lot. She'll miss a couple bucks. Take it out, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of it's probably similar to what is it, Americo?
Yeah, like
America.
realistically, she's
Yeah.
wasting more money on that policy than she would be getting back if she ever were to get rid of it, right? Because
Yep.
2 months is already 500. 4 months is
Yep.
1,000.
Absolutely.
And she doesn't
I
have
would
two in there.
show her. Yeah, I would just show her. I would just show her on an illustration. Just show her what that looks like.
Right. Okay. Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be a no-brainer sale.
Yeah,
She just needs
that was-
to know. She just needs to know the negative, impact of what's going to happen. I mean, it's probably not going to be that much, surrender
Oh,
value, but
yeah.
she just needs to know, how much it's going to be, and
Okay.
how that's going to work out,
Right.
how the liquidation is going to work out. Anybody else got any other cases or questions? I know somebody does.
Carmen, this is Ronald. How you doing?
Hey, Ronald.
Quick question for you. I have 2 clients in New York. We're licensed in New York, my wife and I. I know
Mhm.
NLG is a New York carrier for IUL. Any other carriers for New York for IULs that I can go through other than NLG for IULs for New York?
Not for New York, but here.
Okay. Yeah, I looked on the thing. All I see is NLG. I was making sure with any other.
Yeah, but since New York is kind of a special state, I mean, Experior kind of breaks that down for us. Let me know if you all can see my if
Yeah,
you
I
all
can
can
see.
see my screen right now.
Very special.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me see something here. All right, let me get here and then the contracts. Oops, no, this is where I want to go. Contracting. Okay, New York contracts available. Yep, I knew they had it. Are you looking at this, my brother?
Yes, that's where I was. Yes, that's what I thought. We want to say IUL.
Hey, apologies for interrupting. Carmen, do you see Amy now?
If she came in through a Samsung, yeah, I'll let her in.
Okay. Yeah, do you have a Samsung?
If she in here, just ask her if she's in here.
Yeah, she says she's in there.
Okay, good. So Ronald, here are the Ronald, here are the carriers that are specific to New York. So we've got F&G is in New York for their for this indexed annuity. Mutual of Omaha is in New York. Obviously, you knew National Life Group, and also you can write Transamerica Final Expense. And their so you can write all their final expense products for Transamerica. Looks like for New York.
Okay, yeah, I just saw NLG was only IUL. That's why I was just trying to. The person only was IUL.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Carmen,
Yeah. Okay, here she
apologies
is.
again.
I'm
You
letting
got her?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got it. Yeah. Anybody else have any more questions before I introduce our fabulous speaker? Come on now, don't be shy. I know somebody's working on at least one IUL case for the week. Carolyn, what are you working on? Hey, Amy,
No sound.
you've got sound because I just heard.
No sound.
Carolyn, you got something you're working on, hon?
I have a few things I'm working on. My
I thought I can hear your brain.
I came across this thing where this, well, not a thing, but this girl is she said that she doesn't have any health problems at all, because I was going to try to get her into an IUL. She was a school teacher and she quit and she's going to be a therapist on her own. I was going to try to get her into an IUL, and then she's 5'3" and she's 330 pounds. And I've met her in person before at the school. I do not remember. That would have been noticeable. That's a lot, you know. And so I can't seem to find any carrier at all that it's that has the height and weight that'll take her. And so I kind of don't know what to do from there. So I guess, well, maybe put her in an annuity.
It can't do anything. You know, everybody is not you know, a candidate for the IUL.
Mhm.
And this is why we have these, you know, this is why we have these trainings. And it's unfortunate because the people that really want
Can't
it,
hear anything.
the people that really want it, they can't get it.
Mhm.
You follow
So
me? So yeah,
would you
it's
suggest that I put her
Yeah,
in
what
like
is the problem here?
an annuity or something? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Should I put her in an annuity or something instead?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So so guys, this is just a good segue before I introduce our speaker. If a person does not qualify for an IUL, right? Putting their premium or contribution $300-400 a month into an FIA is always a good option, another option. Because there's never any health requirements in an annuity, whether you're rolling one over or you're starting one new. That's the good thing about it. So always
Carmen, can you say that one more time?
Hey, sweetie. Yeah. When somebody cannot qualify for an IUL, you can always, you know, use a fixed indexed annuity as an option, which is a great segue to our speaker. You can always use that as an option because an annuity doesn't have any health requirements associated with it at all, whether you're rolling over an annuity or you're starting an annuity fresh.
Perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to write that down.
Absolutely. Yeah. Health requirements are not even an issue. When you write an annuity, they could care less about your doctor's information. They just want to know about your assets and if you can pass suitability. And with that being said, I'm getting ready to introduce our speaker.
I have a question for you real quick, Carmen. So
Yeah, hey, Robin.
Hey, so if you do the annuity and let's just say it's a 35-year-old, you can put monthly contributions like $300 a month into it until you're 65?
Absolutely.
Okay.
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 Yep, on a monthly basis.
Okay.
And I'm gonna check with our speaker to see if that can also be you know, what is it? What do I want to say? Automatic draft, ACH as well.
But it doesn't come with like living benefits or anything like that.
The annuity, absolutely it does.
Oh, it does. Okay. Okay.
It's certain annuities. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Guys, I'm excited because number one, this as I said, this discussion it segues totally into, this is perfect. It segues totally into the guest that I want to introduce. I know that this training is, you know, IULs and annuities, and we really don't, but we're getting more into it, right, Dominic? I think we're getting more into annuities. I'm trying to like layer it. Yeah, right. I'm trying to, you know, kind of like layer it in a little bit, but I know that a lot of people are having questions about annuities, and they think, you know, just overall that annuities are hard sales. I think they are not. I think that me personally, I think that an annuity is a much easier sale than a IUL for a whole number of reasons, right? But I'm not going to take up the time of the speaker. Guys, we have the privilege of having Colton. Wait a minute, is it Colton Clagney?
Kangley. Yeah.
Kangley.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't roll off the tongue. I know.
I'm telling you,
Kangley,
I want to say Clangley, Langley, right? But he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Me and this guy, everyone are getting closer and closer. This is why you got to come to, if you can't make the convention, try and come to the Texas Takeover events. We have 2 of them, always the second week in April. And then we have one the first week in November, I do believe. It will be, it's kind of a little bit far away from November, but we're going to be posting the dates. So me and this guy have been rubbing elbows and building a relationship because of Quantum's relationship with Experior. So just at a high level, just 30 seconds. I had sold a lot of Fidelity. If anybody knows about Fidelity as our carrier on the annuity side, it was never really a part of the Quantum bundle. Now that it is, right, and I can write through Quantum and still, get my commission and everything through Fidelity. And now I can write through Nationwide, right? Everything is just a good fit right now. So I wanted to bring Colton on because he is our guys. If you didn't know, when you submit a deal through Quantum, if you have a question about an illustration, if you have a advanced case design, Carolyn, if you have anything related to that, this is the guy probably that you would be talking to. Or if not, they're going to be, shifting the deal to him for him to try to figure out, an illustration to get back with you. So I wanted to have him on here today just to walk through a annuity, right? Just for him to give, a high level, obviously, on just what an annuity is. Go over some questions that you guys have. He's going to do some illustrations for us, go through, just a basic presentation, get into some, maybe some advanced terms if we have time on participation rates, and then maybe he'll let us know who his favorite annuity carrier is right now with the, with the market being in the state that it is. So without further ado, I am going to introduce Mr. Colton from Quantum.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. No, nice words. Thanks, Carmen. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time together. So I'm hoping that I can meet each and every one of you. But yeah, we'll just get started. We'll jump right in. Let me share my screen real fast here. So the objective of today, right, is what is Quantum? What does the partnership look like? We're going to go over some Annuity 101 basic stuff. And then I'll pull up an illustration and apply kind of what we've learned along the way. So I'm going to move kind of fast. This is recorded, right, Carmen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to move kind of fast, but you guys can always watch it later. But who am I, right? So my name's Colton. I'm your go-to person for 99% of the annuities are going to run through Quantum at this point with Experior. Which I'll go over a little more in just a second, but F&G contract, North American, Athene, Nationwide, when we're always adding carriers. I'm working with Jamie on adding a couple more right now. So if you need anything, reach out, give me a shout. Jake is on my team. He's on the call as well, Jake Hahn. So got a whole team behind me, got a case design team. So a ton of support, ton of resources that we can always dive into. But what's the partnership look like? So Quantum, we're just the distribution partner with you guys, right? So my job and my team's job is anything from illustrations, case design, case prep, product trainings like this one. You name it, we're here to make your life easier and help you guys make more money when it comes to the annuities. And it sounds like you guys are kind of like adding it to the tool belt. And I'll kind of speak on why I think that's a great idea, because you'll make more money per client. So your ROI and your time is going to jump through the roof if we do it correctly. Where it gets really interesting is some of these companies, right? So a Nexus, if you haven't heard of them, I would definitely look into it. They're our sister company. They're the industry's largest third-party product design company. So essentially, they build the widget. So they build the product. partner with the carrier to be able to offer it. And then we move it for them. So they build it and we move it. They have been able to create some of the best products in the industry. Not everyone has access to them. So we're one of about 17 that has access to the Annexus suite. So what does that mean for you? It's a great recruiting opportunity, or even if we're in a competitive situation against other agents, we have products that they probably don't have access to, so we can win, right? Win the case. Then Innovation Design Group, Annexus's biggest competitor, based out of Topeka, Kansas. We're one of 4 out of 400 distribution companies that has access to their products. So from a competitive standpoint, you guys are in a very, very good spot just on the product landscape, right? And as I go through today, I think the objective is, like, you don't have to memorize everything. You don't have to know everything. That's what me and my team are here for, right? So if you got a case that you're working on, let's connect and we'll go through it. I'll build the illustration and then walk you through the illustration so you can go sell it, right? So let's go over some annuity basics, right? So kind of annuity 101. What's a fixed indexed annuity? Essentially a contract between the client and the carrier that provides principal protection and maybe some income guarantees, right? Just like an IUL, right? Zero is your hero, can't lose a dime in the market, tied to index for upside potential. Same concept with a fixed index annuity, right? Most common types of annuities, kind of fixed annuity, fixed rate of return, a MIGA or multi-year guarantee annuity. These are really popular right now, especially with interest rates, but it's a fixed rate of return for a set period of time. Most common are probably 3 and 5 year. Do some of those, not a lot. I think the fixed index annuity, the potential right now kind of outweighs the MIGA. I think it beats it. Single premium immediate annuity, SPIA. We don't use these much. We use them in the planning process when need be, but essentially the client gives a lump sum of money, the insurance company pays out an income, and that's it. There's no flexibility, kind of lose control of the asset. You can set it for a certain period of time or lifetime, but we use them when they're needed. But with the fixed index annuity where we play, they're so competitive right now, a lot of times the client likes that flexibility when we're talking about some income purposes with the FIA. Then the variable annuity, okay? Variable annuity, you need your securities license for. You don't need it for the FIA, but it's an annuity with sub-accounts, and it's subject to market loss, right? So the reason I want to go over these is if you run into any of these annuities, get the statement, send it to me, and we'll see if there's an opportunity to move it, right? What I don't want is you're meeting with a client, they have annuity, and you throw your hands up, right, and say, oh, they've already got one, I can't do anything with it. Not the case whatsoever. Get the statement, call Quantum, right? I'll take care of everything else. So I'll tell you if there's an opportunity there for you guys to make some money. So a couple key terms that I want to touch base on, right? Every time that you talk about annuity, these couple terms are going to pop up, okay? One of them is a par rate or a participation rate. What is that, okay? It's how much the client participates in the return of the index. The par rate is set by the carrier. It's different per product, but they all work pretty similarly, right? So as an example, random product, just made these numbers up. Let's say the par rate is 200%, and the index that it's tied to does a 5% return, right? Just made these numbers up. You take the 5% return from the index, multiply it by the participation rate, so it's a 10% return to the client. So all it is a simple multiple, essentially. I've got a product right now that has up to a 500% participation rate, and it's good to know how this works, right? Because it kind of tells us what the upside potential is for the client, right? Next example, let's say the par rate's 50%, which a couple years ago that was very common. Index does 5 times 50%, that's a 2.5% return to the client. So as you can see, knowing how the par rate functions, right, we can talk about it, talk about the upside potential, talk about why it's maybe a good idea to get into them now while they're so competitive, okay? Okay, so the next one is what we call point-to-point, okay? So you'll hear this all the time too, every time we talk about annuities. Essentially, the most basic thing is the duration of crediting. So this is how it works, right? If it's and they can be any duration, but the most common is a 1 and 2 year point to point. So how it works is this. If it's a 1 year point to point, okay, they track that index for 1 year. At the end of that 1 year, if there's any gains, they'll credit those gains to the account, right? So pretty simple. If it's a 2 year point to point, they track the index for 2 years and credit any of those gains to the account at the end of the 2 years. The longer the point to point, the higher the participation rate, right? So it kind of feeds into each other, okay? So there's 3 year point to points out there. There's 5 year point to points out there. Most common are 1 and 2 year, but it becomes really important. And here's why. If you're in a 5 year point to point, the client is not going to see any gains to the account for 5 years. So we have to set those expectations, right? So you're not getting those nasty calls a year or 2 years in and say my money's not growing, right? So just to know kind of how it works high level, especially when you're just kind of looking at the illustration, it'll paint that picture on how it'll function so we can set those expectations moving forward. Okay. Now this is a big one, right? So there's multiple types of bonuses. I know it kind of sounds kind of crazy. The most common, or the easiest, I would say, I wouldn't say most common, the easiest one kind of to understand is the cash bonus. It is exactly what it sounds. Cash bonus, also called premium bonus. So if the client puts in $100,000 and there's a 20% cash bonus, the accumulation value is at $120,000, right? So that one's pretty simple. The other one is what I call a benefit bonus, okay? So the bonus is going to fund whatever benefit is attached. Most commonly, that's an income rider, right? So if there's an income rider and it's a benefit-based bonus, it's feeding the income. It's not going to reflect on the cash, right, or the accumulation value. For example, Nationwide has a 30% income-based bonus. That's going to the income bucket, not to the accumulation value. The only reason I touch on this is because there's a lot of confusion out there as to what bonus is what, which one's better. I get that question all the time. I wouldn't say one is better than the other, because if we need income, then a benefit-based bonus is the one that's needed, right? Or if we need cash, then the cash bonus is better. So it depends on the client, depends on the situation. But I really like to dive into that because it makes a huge difference when we're looking at the landscape of the products to find the right one, okay? Now, this is where we start to make money, right? What are the opportunities? I think the biggest one, old 401ks, right? It costs the client nothing. So I'll get on my soapbox a little bit. Carmen hit the nail square on the head. I think the annuity is an easier sell. Why is that? One of the reasons is the IUL, outside of underwriting, outside of all that stuff, there is a premium attached, right? There's a monthly occurrence. They've got to pay $100,000, $500,000 a month for that policy. Well, if they've got 500 grand in an old 401k, it costs them nothing to move it, and that's not a taxable event. So think about that for a second, right? As you guys are working on some life cases, let's say that same person that's paying the $250 a month has $50,000 in an old 401k. What just happened? One, you're going to make a decent little check on the life policy. You're going to be able to offer a solution that costs them nothing to roll that into a fixed index annuity, the 401k. You essentially almost doubled your commission for that client. So cost them nothing, right? Just a couple more questions. You get the statement, send it to Quantum. I'll take care of everything else, right? So bigger wallet share, bigger ROI on your time. Now you're going to make a lot of money, okay? Any 401ks from your employers, what are they doing for you? How they performed? What if I could show you with something with downside protection, unlimited upside potential, right? So it literally is just a couple more questions when you're doing the fact finding. Most of the time, I had a client, he was one of my good buddies, and I was sitting down with him. I was like, hey, you have any old like retirement accounts at your old employers? And he's like, Yeah, I got a few. I go, oh, you got a few? What does that mean? He goes, I probably have 5 of them. Okay. Where are they? He's like, I have no earthly idea. So we had to go down this rabbit hole of finding all of them. He had 5 different accounts, a couple $100,000 in there. He had no clue what they were doing, what they were invested in, nothing. So I was able to help him roll them into annuity, right? And everything. He was super happy with that. So you'd be shocked on what you'll find if you just ask a couple more questions. Pretty simple. I'll take care of everything else, right? You get the info, call me, we'll go from there, right? Now, this is the other, probably the biggest opportunity is old annuities, right? 1035 exchanges, okay? Kind of the annuity refinance program. If you find someone with an old annuity, a couple years old, get the statement or get the info, call me. More than likely, we can put them in a new product, bigger par rates, big bonus, and literally get them ahead. I was working on one yesterday. She hasn't made money in 4 years. With the bonus, she has a little surrender charge, but with the bonus, she's $5,000 ahead, and the par rates are tripled, right? So if you get that statement, call me. I will help you make money, right? Throughout this whole meeting, right? Call Quantum. You want to spend some one-on-one time? Call Quantum, okay? All right, before I jump into carrier and product, let me pause there. I know I went on over a lot of information. Is there anything you want me to dive deeper on? You want me to spend some time on before I kind of shift gears here? No? Yeah, I
I have
know
a
I didn't do
question.
that good of a job. All right, there we go. All right,
Colton, I have a
fire
question.
away.
Um,
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit more about the bonuses again? I know that you mentioned the benefit bonus is more best for needing income, and then I don't remember the other one. You went too fast. I didn't get you.
Yep.
That's right down just a little bit.
So the
more
other
explanation on
one,
those.
the other one, yeah, the other one's just simple, right? It's cash bonus or
Mhm.
premium bonus. Okay, so F&G, they've got depending on the state, they've got a 15% bonus. The one we're going over today has a 20% bonus. Those are both cash. There are some benefit bonuses out there that are monstrous right now, 30%, 40, 45%, whatever they might be. Those are benefit-based bonuses. Okay, so they're not cash. So when we look at the illustration, it'll show it on there, but it won't be in the accumulation value. It'll be whatever that bucket is that's going to drive the income or whatever benefits attached to it, right? So it's really, in my opinion, that is important to know. So when you're looking at it, right, oh, you got a 40% bonus, and the client's looking at their statement and they're like, yeah, but my accumulation value hasn't moved, right? So I think it's just, again, setting those proper expectations.
Hey, Colton, I got a question. It's Basil.
Yep.
Hey, you said F&G right now has a 15% bonus?
Yeah, I think it's depending on state. The one we're going over today has a 20% bonus.
Okay.
Mhm.
What are the requirements for that 15% bonus? So for example, does it matter about the amount of years or the type of product? Or?
Yeah, so it will be the longer duration. Carmen would know that too. So like on this North American one, it's a 10-year product with a 20% bonus. I think the F&G is either a 10 or 14-year, one of the two, where you get the big bonus. Yeah, so the longer duration, it would be one of those 10+ year contracts.
Got it. Thanks.
Hey, Colton, I have a quick question for you. I have a potential
Yep.
client. He's 69. He's already retired. He's got about $500,000 in a money market account. And that's what he's,
Yep.
he's just taking money out of it when he needs it. I was thinking about a SPIA for him, but I just wanted your thoughts.
If he is using it just to dip into every once in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would not do a SPIA.
No?
So a SPIA, no, not off the top of my head, right? And the reason why is he puts it in there and he can't get access to it, right? So a single premium immediate annuity. So essentially, you're going to just trigger income and that's it.
That's true. Yeah.
But what I would look at is with 500 grand, you actually can do a lot of planning with that, by the way. So he's
Sure.
69, so there's going to be a liquidity deal. This North American has a fantastic 5-year product, so it's liquid in 5. But then also you can look at the Safe Income Advantage for income, or the Nationwide for income as well. So if you wanted to create that income down the road, you could do that. So you could create liquidity along the way, you could get growth along the way, but also you could have some bucket in there tied to income. So you can get really
Yeah.
creative with 500 grand.
Yeah, that's the I don't, I want to make sure that he's got at least some portion of it that's liquid for, I mean, at that age, you need money for things.
Yep.
So, all right, I'll look at him. Thank you, man.
Yep. Okay. So any more before I move on to carrier? Okay. So let me skip through this. All right. So the one I'm going to go over today is North American. There's a reason why I'm going over this one. It's got a ton of bells and whistles. It's one of the easiest products to sell with a fantastic company, and it's built by a Nexus. So A rated across the board, fantastic from the agent, kind of relationship, fantastic from the clients. Just a great company to work with. Probably one of my favorite companies to work with. Just fantastic, just across the board. I can't say enough good things about them. But today we're going over the North American Secure Horizon Plus. There's 5 variations of this product. If you learn today, you'll learn all 5, essentially, right? Just different variations. The first thing we're going to notice is there's a 20% bonus. Client puts in 100,000, that's 120,000 day one. Okay. 10-year products. You have to be at least 40 to get the 20% bonus, right? So how do we use that? How do we utilize this? People love the G word. I can guarantee you 20% returns the first year. We can offset losses. We can offset surrender charges. There's just a lot of ways we can utilize this to cause intrigue and help the client get where they want to go, right? The other thing about this, and I'm gonna go over some things here. Next couple of slides. I'm gonna pull up the illustration at the end to make it all make sense. So just bear with me, okay? So there's a 4-in-1 retirement benefits rider that's automatically included on the Plus version, okay? Very unique. It has a Social Security benefit, long-term care benefit, death benefit, and longevity, all wrapped up into one, okay? Some of these are so unique that this is the only product in the industry that has them. So it's worth noting, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Okay. Now, this one has a benefit base, right? But the bonus is cash, so I don't want to get that confused. But it's really important to know that the benefit base is growing at a 2x multiplier. Okay. So if there's $200,000 credits, right, you're going to get $400,000 to the benefit base. We're going to think of this benefit base as the engine that drives the rider. Again, I'm going to pull up the illustration in just a second to really show you how it works. But so essentially 300 grand, we have a $500,000 bucket here that's going to feed the rider. That's what we want to think about that, right? So the first one is the Social Security benefit, right? On their website, they're saying possibly by 2033, Social Security might look a little different. They're projecting maybe a 23% reduction in benefits. Now, we can go back and forth. I'm not saying it's going to change. I'm not saying it's not going to change. Doesn't matter to me. What I care about is we have the only product in the industry that has anything to do with Social Security. So it's definitely worth talking about. People are worried about it. It's going to be on the TV. It's an election year. They're doing the marketing for you. Go out, spread the word, right? You have access to the only product on the market that has anything to do with it, so might as well talk about it. But how it works is this. They take that big bucket of money, right? So the 500 grand in this example, what they do is they take that, divide it by 12. Client's going to get 41,000 a year for 12 years to offset the reduction of Social Security. So pretty powerful, okay? And again, I'll pull this up on the illustration in a real live world situation, and these numbers are absurd. The next one is long-term care, right? So if the client cannot perform 2 of the 6 ADLs, They take that bucket again. Now they divide it by 7. Client would get $71,000 a year for 7 years in this example to offset long-term care costs. In my opinion, is one of the best long-term care benefits in the industry, just because of the exponential growth on this benefit base, so on and so forth. Okay, and I'm going to dive into this one too. There's a lot more to talk about on the illustration. Okay, enhanced death benefit. I don't like how this illustrates it, but essentially you're going to get a huge death benefit paid out over 5 years. Again, it's easier to show on the illustration. The last one is kind of unique too. At age 85, they can kind of annuitize it, but it's not really annuitization. What they do is they create a lifetime income stream, but whatever's left over in the bucket will get passed on. Okay. All right. So I know I went pretty fast, but I'm going to pull up the illustration and we can spend a lot of time kind of going through it. Okay. So I just ran this 55-year-old male, 200 grand going in. This is where it gets really interesting. All right, so a couple things to talk about, but I'm going to get to the meat and taters. All right, so first thing we notice, 200,000 going in right here. 240 day one. So right off the rip, we're ahead. Okay, from an accumulation standpoint, hypothetically turning 200 grand into $500,000+, right? So from accumulation standpoint, really good. The other versions of the product could potentially grow more. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So from there, I think it's great. Now, what we want to focus on is this bucket. Okay, so this is the 2 times multiplier bucket. But what are we multiplying by 2? We're actually multiplying the net credited rate. So 11% here, this would have grown at 22%. Okay, this one was a 10% return. This would have grown at 20. So whatever we get from a return perspective, multiply it by 2, right? That's how fast this is growing. Now, again, right, this is the engine that drives the rider. But what does now the rider look like in a real world scenario? So if we look now, 2 of 6 ADLs, there's $1.9 million in that 2 times multiplier bucket. Okay, client cannot perform 2 of the 6. They could choose to trigger this or not. But now client's getting 273 grand a year for 7 years. Not only that, let's say the client triggers it, right? And as an example, let's say they pass away in the 2nd year. What happens to the other month, the rest of the money? The beneficiaries actually get the remaining series of payments. So in that scenario, right? Pass aways in 2nd year, the beneficiaries get 5 payments of 273 grand. Whatever's left over. So pretty powerful. The plan gap benefit. So if Social Security is decreased by more than 3%, that's the triggering event. If that happens, they can choose to trigger this or not. They take that 2 times multiplier bucket. So in this example, they're going to get 67 grand a year for 12 years to offset Social Security. And the same thing happens. If client passes away during that time, the beneficiaries receive the remaining series of payments. So again, pretty fantastic, right? Only product in the industry with that. Okay, if you don't use these 2, now we have the enhanced death benefit, right? So in this example, client or the beneficiary can say, hey, I want my 526 grand, or I want my 812,000 paid out over 5 years. Okay. So those are the 3 that I like to talk about. So all in all, if you think about it, we have a 20% bonus, great accumulation, long-term care, Social Security, enhanced death benefit, all in one package, right? So if we're talking about a product that will help you move a lot of money, I would definitely add this one to the tool belt. It unlocks a crazy amount of money. I had an agent, I ran the illustration for 70 grand. What came in on the app was 770 grand. So they just increased their commissions by a lot of money, and because they liked all these features, right? So a couple things before I open it up for questions, right? This one is single premium, right? Minimum is 25,000. We cannot add to it. It'll take qualified dollars, non-qualified, 403B, IRAs, cash. It'll take all that kind of money. For taxes, if it's qualified dollars, every dollar that comes out will be taxed. If it's non-qualified, only the gains will be taxed. What are some of the other questions? I always forget one. Let me think. I'll open it up. So whatever you want to dive in a little deeper, just let me know, but I'll open it up for questions, and we can get them answered for you.
Yeah, I've got a question for you. If you were to, well, first off, like these fixed index products, can I know financial advisor sells the variables, but can they sell the fixed as well?
Yeah, if they have a life license, right, they can sell the fixed, yes.
Right. So only if they have a life license, then, basically.
Correct.
Gotcha. All right. All right. And then now, when you're touching on point to point, so basically that just means that you're not going to see any gains until the end of that particular point, whether it be a 1 year or 2 year.
Yeah, so exactly. Now, with that being said, there's 2 products in the industry that I'm aware of that you can actually track gains daily. That's Nationwide New Heights built by Nexus and the Athene BCA built by Nexus. Those are the only 2 that you can log into the account and see it grow on a daily basis.
Gotcha. All right, great. Thanks so much. Oh, all right. I got one more question for you. Yeah, so if you're doing these annuities, right? And I thought, correct me if I'm wrong. And whenever it is, like, say they took a 10-year or 14-year annuity, and at the end of the annuity, they're leaving it in there, but they want to go ahead and start collecting on a monthly basis. Are they able? They just collect for life, or they collect until whatever they've accumulated runs out?
Yeah, that's
I
a
understood
fantastic
it to be as life.
So fantastic question. So it depends, right? If there's an income rider, they could trigger that, right? And that would create a lifetime income stream. If they don't have an income rider, like this one doesn't have an income rider, right? If that's the case and they keep it in there, then they would just take withdrawals, right? Until the account value goes to 0. Then there's no more money left, right? Hopefully that doesn't happen because we're going to get growth along the way. But there's 2 ways to skin the cat, and those are the 2 ways.
As long as it has an income rider, then they're good to go for actual lifetime withdrawals.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Okay. And then to dive a little deeper on that, so most income riders, if they're over 59.5, they can trigger pretty quickly. So Nationwide, for example, you have to wait at least 1 year. Say the client's 60, they can trigger income as soon as 61. So they can trigger for the 10 years, right, or the surrender schedule's up. So it's pretty flexible in that standpoint, and then they would have lifetime income from that point.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and then to touch on that a little bit too, I get asked all the time, well, how do we choose which product, right? That's a question I get constantly. Yeah. I think it's a very good question. But so that's my job, right? My job is to help sift through all the crap out there, essentially, and find the product that fits best for the client. How do I do that? Number one, I get updates constantly, carriers on site weekly, basically. But when I'm working with you, the agent, and you tell me the situation, right? All right, clients, like Dominic was saying, client's 59, got 500 grand. What can we do? Here's what they want to do. Here's their goals. Here's their objectives. That guides me to the product or products that I, may fit best depending on the situation. I've got access to every product in this space, so I can literally go out into the industry, put my feelers out there, and see if we can't find the best solution. Typically, you might look at 2 to 3 products per case. If you're looking at millions of dollars, then obviously the planning is a little more extensive, right? You might write 4 different products for the one client. So that's what guides me, is the better job that you guys do from a fact-finding perspective allows me and my team to do a better job finding the products. Okay? And then also something I'm going to show you guys that's really cool. So this is the Maya Nexus portal. Okay, so Nationwide, Athene, North American, Securian, which we don't do anything with, and John Hancock just launched a new live product. You're the first one guys seeing it, by the way. But the question is too, well, within the Nexus suite, what are our options, right? I like a Nexus. They've got some unique features like Basil was touching that on that, right? I want to track values daily, whatever it is, right? I like a Nexus. Okay, cool. Well, you have access, and if you don't have access to this website, shoot me an email and I'll get you access. But you have access to this selection tool guide, essentially. Let's say we want accumulation, okay? Click on it, boom, we got 3 products right off the rip that are great for accumulation. Say we want to dive into North American a little deeper, right? You have access to all of this. It goes right into the illustration software. It's got index information. It's got anything that you would want, client microsites that you can send directly to the client, all at the touch of a couple clicks, right? Say we want income. Got Nationwide and Athene, right? Athene's kind of a Swiss Army knife. You can build it for multiple different things. Income's one of them, right? But Nationwide New Heights, we lean toward that one. #1 selling guaranteed income rider 5 years running, right? So we have some powerful products at your fingertips. If you want access to this, just let me know. But it's a fantastic way, especially if you're kind of bringing on agents or you're talking to agents you want to bring on from a recruiting perspective, take them to this, right? This is fantastic. Well, we need a premium bonus, 15%, up to 15% on Athene, 20% on the North American products, right? Everything's filtered by state. So you click the state the client's in, it'll tell you which products are available in that state. So it's kind of self-policing, if you will. I think it's fantastic. This just got launched a couple weeks ago to the agent. I've had access to it for a year, year and a half. But I was so excited because I was like, man, this is fantastic. You guys can't get a hold of me or you just kind of want to play around and see what the products are. This is a great tool for you guys. So let me know. I'll get you access to this. Shoot me an email. But it's another just a great tool just to dive around, play around a little bit.
This is awesome, Colton. Thank you so much. And you can
Yeah,
shoot.
absolutely.
Yeah, and you can shoot that over to me right now because I don't have access to it. I thought I did my contracting for Nationwide and all that. I guess I didn't. I guess I needed to do, yeah, I need to
I
do
thought
it.
we did.
Me too. I thought I did it last year.
Let me
But
check.
Kate said she sent me an email and she slapped my hand. She said, I gotta do it. So I gotta get that done. I gotta be able to sell nationwide.
Let me check here. I got you set up with Nationwide.
No, she
Oh,
said,
no.
yeah, I needed to complete my my Sure LC profile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I can have him resend it. Let me touch on that real quick too. So the process, right?
Yeah.
I think I get a lot of questions about this. It's probably what I get most calls on. So process. First thing is in the Xperia back office, there is a link to Quantum. It's a Sure LC link. It's under Learn, Contracting, and then Quantum. If you don't have it, if you can't find it, let me know. I've got a copy of the link as well. Once you do that, that is the first step. Once you do that, you're automatically put into my system, right? Now, from there, this is where it gets a little confusing too. And I think, Basil, we were on an email together with Raza.
Yeah.
So how it works is this. I do not send anything to the carrier until something is in the pipeline. Appointment coming up, you're working on a case, right? There's a reason for it, right? Every time we send something to the carrier, it costs a couple bucks, right? $8 to $10. But if you think about it, one agent times 10 carriers times 2,000 agents, a lot of money, right? So just unnecessary. Now, with that being said, if you shoot me an email, we connect with my team, Everything is just in time. So if you wanted to write the nationwide tonight, I can get contracting to the carrier, you do the product training, you can write the app tonight. So there's no lag time, okay? So if I can give you access to the Maya Nexus in the meantime, right, to play around with products, but if something's in the pipeline, reach out to me, get on my calendar, we'll talk about it, help you with the case. I'll make sure you're good to go from a contracting perspective. That's the way we've built it out, okay? I am in the process, which should be hopefully by the end of the week, I'm going to be launching a dedicated landing page in the Xperia back office. It is going to have and we're controlling the content, right? It's going to have carrier information, contracting information, process. Where do I go to submit the app? Go here. How do I get contracted? Click here. What's the next steps? Click here. It's all going to be laid out in a fantastic, like badass landing page in the Xperia back office. My team's working on it now. That'll be live here shortly. So any new people that are coming over, there'll at least be a guide, right? You can go on there and live on there from the annuity perspective and the partnership with Quantum. So that's launching. We've done a lot of work behind the scenes, but you guys are growing so fast, right? I just want everybody to kind of be updated on the process. Any questions, reach out. But that's kind of how it's laid out right now. Sure LC link, connect with me. I'll make sure you're good to go. Okay.
Thank you so much. Guys,
Absolutely.
did you think this was useful? Did you think this training was useful?
Very.
Absolutely, yes.
Extremely.
I'm gonna have
Just-
to watch it a few times.
Yeah.
Hey Colton, I
I
just
love it.
sent you an email about that, requesting access as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
Thanks.
let me put my email in the chat. Just so
Yeah, I
everyone-
was just
in
getting ready to
case.
say that, ask the same thing.
So I can give the only caveat, I guess, is if you haven't done the Cheryl C link, I don't have the correct info to send the access to my Nexus. So make sure you get that done. Shoot me an email and then I'll make sure to get that invite sent out to you. That's the only thing you would need to do on your end.
Quantum, Colton, I'm on here. Is it Surance Bay link or is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the one. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Super. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Emma, I see your message here.
Yes,
Let's connect after the call and I'll get you squared away.
thank you.
Any
Coach, I have a
other
question.
questions for me? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Robin.
So is there like for instance, because I'm totally new to learning annuities. So like, for instance, on the circle, I'm looking at like confinement benefit. Is there like a description of each one of those to kind of get, so you can kind of understand, as an agent, what they are. So when we come to you, we can, I don't know. I guess we talk to a person, we find out if they have, money sitting somewhere. We then, I don't know if we ask them what they want to do with it, or do we just come to you and then you guide us from there?
So initially, right, and this is the hardest, so my soapbox here, and this is the hardest part about the industry, right, is that initial kick, right? You feel like you don't know anything, right? And essentially you don't, right? But I will say this, initially, Robin, what we'll do is you get the info, I'll walk you through everything, right? So from a solution standpoint, you can touch on a couple things, but if you get the info, I will walk you through that.
Okay.
Right. If that helps. The hardest part in this business, and the literal $1 million question is how do we get in front of more people, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, I'll take care of the products, right?
Okay.
Products doesn't help. Product knowledge, obviously you have to have it, but it doesn't help you sell. Right. If you're the person that gets in front of people out there prospecting and networking and stuff, that's the hard part. You get the info and you call me. I'll take care of the product side. Now, to answer the question, it should have, I'm going to go to it because that's a really good question. Let me look. So confinement. Let's go to 206 ADL. So it is different. It should have a, based on the solution, it should tell you high level how it works.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you clicked on confinement, right, you're going to see a theme BCA. One of the highlights right there is when the confinement criteria is met, income will double. So it's got an income doubler, so that's how that would work. So essentially, whatever the income is, it would double that until the account value reaches 0. And then if you click on 206 ADLs, 7-year payout based on death or a benefit base. So it does give you kind of a very high level on what's happening, but the actual functionality of it and how it works in real world, that's where I come in. So yeah, just reach out.
Okay.
Anybody else?
All right.
This has been excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is going down in the recordings of recordings of recordings. Guys, we're going to be doing more trainings like this with obviously with some great guest speakers in the future. I'm glad we had a lot of people show up for Mr. Catley.
Close enough. Close. I've been called worse.
What did I say? It's I want to speak of the old show, but you're too young, Cagney and Lacey. That's who I'm getting your name mixed up with. But you're way too young for that show. See, I'm telling my age. Ask Andy or any of those guys there if they heard of Cagney and Lacey back in the
Was that
day.
on before the Munsters or?
Oh my God.
Hey, watch it there. There's some other old folks in here too.
Franklin, do you remember it?
I remember it very well. I used to
See?
watch it all the time.
It was
Yep.
the lead into I Love Lucy. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, now you went back too far.
All right, my friend Colton. I'll see you in Canada, my friend, right? I'll see you when? Next month, you believe? I need to get my
Thank
ticket.
you, Colton.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll see you up there. Hopefully I see a couple more of you up there. But yeah, I'll be on standby. I've got Jake on here too. So just reach out to either one of us.
Okay.
And
Hey,
we'll
Jake.
see. We'll
Cool.
get you everything taken care of. Yep.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.